And then as you're ready, we're gonna stack up to a seat on your knees. If that's uncomfortable, feel free to come up higher or have a seat. We're gonna reach our left arm up and over. Let it rest on the right side of the face. Let that head stretch over. Maybe the fingers reach. And then releasing. Taking that stretch on your second side. And then releasing. As you're ready, you can shift it forward, pass through tabletop, and tuck the toes to your down dog. Feeling free to pedal out the heels. Maybe you take some gentle twists. Simply allowing your body to move and explore your down dog today. Finding that movement for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pausing in the outward stillness of your down dog. Hands active on the mat. Hips pressing high. Belly button pulling to spine. Neck is relaxed. Give your head a shake. Nod it yes, shake it no. Let go of tension there. On your next inhale, lift the heels, bend through the knees. Hover the knees just before they drop to the mat. Feeling the belly button pull to spine, shoulders pressing away from the mat. And maybe you choose to tap a knee and then the other, or just hover and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hips press back high. Pausing in down dog. Walking the hands back to meet the heels. Forward fold at the back of your mat. Maybe you bend the knees a lot or a little. Maybe you grab for elbows. Releasing any grips you've taken. Hands come to the shins as you lift halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Bending the knees deeply as you tuck the tailbone, stacking each vertebrae as you make your way to mountain pose. Maybe you sway it out. Maybe you grab a sip. And bring yourself to the middle of your mat. You find that centered space. Maybe sway from blade edge to arch of your foot. Swaying side to side, we often sway forward and back. And then come center and rock forward and back. Noting how that changes and affects your balance. From here, we're going to inhale and reach the arms high, grabbing your left wrist with your right hand and reach up and over to the side. Feeling free to continue holding on, or maybe that hand provides external support on the thigh. If you keep your arm high, resist the urge to use it as a pillow. Your next inhale brings you center, switching the grip as you go up and over to your second side. Remembering that option to drop the arm to the thigh. Inhale brings you center. Taking the hands to your low back, you might choose to use fists. You could point fingers up or fingers down to support your back bend on this first round. Maybe you bend your knees slightly so you can tuck your tailbone. And you open the chest to the ceiling, envisioning your spine moving the way water shoots out of a water fountain. Up and over. Your next inhale brings you center. Hands release, chin can drop to the chest briefly. Then inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, lifts halfway up. Exhale, plant. You're stepping your feet back to a shortened down dog because your hands are right about the middle of the mat. You're going to bend your left knee deeply here. And then angle your right heel toward that foot, stretching through the IT band up into the hip of that straightened leg. Pushing with your hands to find depth. Then your inhale brings you center, pausing heels to the mat between sides. Then bend your right knee deeply. Turn your heel toward it, your toes point out. And press into that foot. Inhale brings you center. Exhale lowers the knees to the mat, finding your tabletop. Then bringing yourself up high on your knees, feeling free to fold your mat or grab something to place underneath the knees to add some extra cushion. From here, we're going to inhale our arms high. Feel free to also tuck your back toes. It brings your heels a little bit closer to you. On your next exhale, you're going to twist and reach your right hand back to your right heel. For a little bit of half camel here. Pressing the hips high, pressing the hips toward the front of your mat. Feeling openness through the quads. Maybe the gaze is at the hand on the foot. Or maybe the gaze looks at the hand reaching to the ceiling. Your next inhale brings the hand up. Exhale, reaches the opposite heel. Hips press forward. Play with where your eyes go. See which one is most comfortable for your neck. Inhale brings you center. Exhale, hands pause at your heart center. Feeling the tailbone tucking, core engages here. Simply just lean back, stiff as a board, and stack it back up. For 3, 2, and 1. Stacking it back up. Hands come down, walking it forward, probably about 2 steps of your palms, and then pressing the hips high to your down dog. Inhale reaches your right toes high. You can bend through the knee and the hip can open. Then squaring it back off. Stepping your right foot through. Hovering the fingers as you feel strength and alignment in a crescent lunge. You're nice and low here. Your inhale sweeps the arms, hips and shoulders working to that short edge of the mat. Hands come to heart center. Chest leans forward. See what happens as you inch your way to warrior 3. Maybe the hands come to the quad for external support. Big toe and kneecap face the mat. Exhale, forward fold. 2 feet to the mat. Inhale, halfway lifts. Exhale, folds. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart center. Kind of take a peek around you. Make sure your cup isn't super close to your feet on the sides. And we'll inhale, reaching up. Right hand grabs left wrist. Lifting up and over. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you really root down through that left leg. And your right foot might hover. Kind of making a wonky C shape. Inhale brings you center, foot to the mat, switching grip, up and over to your second side. Maybe you stay, maybe you play. Good. Foot releases. Hands reach around to the low back. Choosing the placement that works for you as you inhale up and over. Maybe it's a little deeper, maybe not. Inhale, stacks. Chin pauses on your exhale. Then arms reach, inhale. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifts. Exhale, plants the hand, steps it back to a down dog. Pausing here. Maybe you choose to take that stretch we did on the first round, or maybe you simply rotate both heels to one side of the mat, and then take them up and over to the other. Eventually returning center, bending through the knees, passing through table, stacking it up. Maybe you tuck the toes. Maybe you grab your drink. This is a fun, like, coordination game, so good luck. Inhale, arms reach high. Maybe both hands start on the glass. Exhale, left hand reaches to the heel. Maybe this time you look up at your cup. Inhale brings you centered. Exhale switches it up. Passing through some moving camel pose here. Inhale brings you centered. Exhale to your first side. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale. One more round. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale, hands come to that cup, bringing the hand to the center. Feel free to grab a sip. You did a really good job on that. Impressive. And then, try not to spill your beverage on you as you lean back, stiff as a board. And up. And back. And up. For 3. 2. And 1. Stacking it back up, grabbing a sip. You could even untuck the toes and have a seat. The joys of practicing outside means we sometimes get to hear somebody's shooting practice. Delightful. And then when you're ready, we'll make our way to down dog. Pressing the hips up and back. Maybe you pedal the heels. Then reaching your left toes high. Bending through the knee, hip opens. Squaring it back off. And left foot steps through. Passing into that crescent lunge on your second side. I didn't forget. Feeling the strength and stability of this posture. Maybe the back knee bends slightly so you can tuck the tail and engage the core. Hands come to heart center. Chest leans forward. And you inch your way to warrior 3. Remembering that option of external support on the standing quad. And releasing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifts. Exhale, folds. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart. Step it out, sway it out. Grab a sip or grab a sip of water if you need. Whatever. And when you're ready, we'll return to mountain pose. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, hips sit down and back. Chair pose. Remembering options to widen your V or bring your hands to heart center. Whatever your shoulders need today. Maybe sink a smidge deeper, hips pressing back, tailbone reaching down, core engaged. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plants the hands, steps it back, down dog. Inhale, curls you up and out to high plank. Lowering to the belly for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Elbows come under the shoulders. Sphinx pose. Feeling active through the palms and the forearms here. And feeling engagement through the belly so that you're not sinking down into the lumbar or low back. Exhale, hands make a pillow for your forehead. Maybe you bend the knees and windshield wiper the feet from side to side. Inhale brings you back to Sphinx. Maybe you stay here, keeping the elbows on the mat. Or maybe you press into the hands, resisting the urge to lock the elbows. They're still soft for King Cobra. Shoulders pressing down and back. Belly is still engaged. Exhale, release. Hands make a pillow. Maybe you pause here or windshield wiper the knees. Coming up for Sphinx one last time. This time, angling your right hand toward the left corner of your mat, leaning into that elbow, bending your left knee. Maybe your fingers find your toes. Maybe not. If you've grabbed the foot, kick that foot into the hand and feel that hip and quad pressing into the mat as the foot tries to kick away in the hand. And gently releasing the foot. Hopefully it does not slingshot back. Switching out those hands. This time your left hand angles in. Weight shifts a little bit into it. Right hand reaches back. Many of us have been sitting a lot more than we normally do. And so our hip flexors might be a little tighter than normal. Exhale, release. Hands make that pillow. Pause briefly here. And hips press back to the heels. Child's pose. And as you're ready, making your way back to down dog. Feeling free to pedal it out. Inhale, lifts the heels. Bend to the knees as you look forward. Exhale, steps, hops, or walks you. to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lifts. Exhale, folds. Inhale, chair pose. Hips sinking down and back. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, lifts your heels. Exhale, lower. For 4. And down. 3. 2. And 1. Lowering the heels, straightening through the knees, mountain pose. Feel free to step it out, sway it out. Let a dog inside. Then we'll come to the top of the mat. Feel free to grab your glass again. Thought it was going to be a playful flow today, so here we are. And for this one, take your glass in your left hand. Maybe your right hand comes to your hip. As you shift your weight to your left foot, right knee comes forward. Kind of like Captain Morgan, yes? And then, maybe you open your arm and your knee out and close them back together. Maybe you just do one or the other. For 3, 2. Very nice. And 1. Bringing that knee back forward, stretching the toes toward the top of the mat. Maybe take a sip. And settle that foot to the mat. Shake out that standing leg. That was very well done. Because we've got 2 sides. So left hand comes to left hip. Weight shifts to your right foot. Then your knee comes up. Stabilizing first. And then we open it out. And close. Open. And close. Open. And close. For 2. And this time that foot stays forward. Foot kicks. Maybe you reward yourself with a sip. Very good. And foot comes down. You can step it out, sway it out. If you're going to sway your arms, I would set my glass down. Feel free to shake out the feet. I always like that arm rebound for the arm swing around. That always feels nice to my body personally. Then when you're ready, we'll return to mountain pose at the top of the mat. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, swan dive. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifts. Exhale, plants the hands, steps the feet back to down dog. Inhale, lifts the heels, bending through the knees, passing through tabletop, and coming up on the knees. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. We've been practicing a little bit of half camel, warming up, opening through the shoulders, opening through the chest. If you would prefer to continue with half camel, feel free. Otherwise, we're going to go through 2 rounds of camel. So when you set up round one, we'll tuck our toes. And then we'll inhale our arms high. Exhale, we reach our hands back simultaneously to those heels. Pressing the front of the body forward. Maybe you keep the head in line with the spine, or maybe you open it and look behind you. If you're doing one side, you'll get the other one on our second round. Inhale brings you up. Exhale, round over briefly in child's pose with your arms by your legs. And inhale brings you back up. Setting up for round two. Maybe you keep your toes tucked. Maybe you're doing the second side if you took half camel. Or this time you could leave the shoelace sides of your feet down. Know that that makes your heels a goodly amount farther away. So when you reach back for them, know that they're a little bit farther if you keep the feet flat. And we'll inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, hands reaching, finding your last version of camel. Hips are pressing forward, opening through the front side of the body. Feeling free to release the neck a bit. Finding openness across the throat. Your next inhale brings you up. And exhale rounds you forward. Bringing the arms beside you, finding child's pose. Maybe you grab for the heels, shifting the hips up, crown of the head to the mat for rabbit pose. Pulling on the heels. You might get a nice shoulder stretch here as well. Belly still engaged. And coming out. Pausing in the child's pose. And stacking yourself up. Dropping the hips to one side as you swing the legs around, feeling free to grab another sip. This is happy hour yoga after all. And then we'll bring the feet forward. Knees are pointing to the ceiling. Maybe feet are flat. Maybe they're not. Just depends on your ankles here. And we'll keep the feet on the floor today as you lean the chest back. Hands come to heart center. And just gently twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. And center. Right. Center. Left. Center. Finding about 3 more rounds, syncing that movement, finding the connection with the core and the breath. And as you're finished, you can bring the bottoms of your feet together, choosing what kind of stretch you would like here. If you'd like to get more into the hips, feel free to bring the heels closer into the hips. If you'd like to find additional release for the low back, simply make the diamond of your legs a little bit bigger. Inhale reaches you up, crown of the head reaches to your ceiling. Exhale hinges forward, trying to keep the sits bones flat on the mat. And then you can round through the upper back. Maybe your hands reach forward. Feeling free to take this in a more restorative style. We're not pushing or pulling, but simply letting gravity do the work. Inhale stacks you up. Hands come behind you, feet plant on the floor, and just gently windshield wiper the knees from side to side. I'm feeling free to grab one more sip before we recline onto our back. And then finding your way to the mat. As you arrive, spine to floor, you can hug your knees into your chest. Maybe gently rocking from side to side. Or maybe your body simply needs the compression of hugging the knees in tight. As you're ready, feet plant on the mat. Hands walk toward the heels. No need for them to touch. Feet are about hip distance apart. And you press your hips high for bridge pose. Continuing to open the front side of the body. Maybe you take your hands underneath your thighs, providing some external support. Maybe you keep the hands on the mat. Exhale, releases, articulating the spine back to the mat, pausing in stillness. Setting up for a second round here. Maybe you take it exactly as you did the first time, or maybe this time, as you press your hips high, your hands meet and clasp underneath you. Option also to take that external support, or hands find the floor. Exhale, releasing, scooting the hands out of the way if you took the grip. Pausing here. And finding one more round, feeling free to continue with bridge pose. If wheel is in your practice, your back bend, feel free to press up. If you're taking wheel, hands come pretty close to your ears or above your shoulders, fingertips pointing toward the feet. And then you press up. Feeling free to stay in bridge pose in either of the first two options. Beautiful variation. When you've had enough, exhale, releases you down, chin chucks to the chest, especially if you're coming out of wheel. Pausing with your neutral spine. Then reaching everything out long on your mat. Taking a full body stretch, hugging the knees tight. Maybe the nose even hugs close, finding a tiny bowl. And then lowering the torso down. Arms can come T-shape, or you could take cactus arms here. And gently let your knees drop to one side, taking a supine spinal twist. Maybe one hand comes to the opposite knee, giving you a little bit of depth of twist. Inhales, create length in your spine. Exhales, deepen your twist. Inhale brings you center. Exhale drops the knees to your opposite side. Finding your twist. Once more. And then as you feel even, knees come back center. Maybe you rock gently. Maybe you reach for blade edges of the feet. And find happy baby. Feeling free to rock gently from side to side. Or finding any other posture your body might be craving. And then as you're ready, beginning to allow yourself to find a comfortable place on your back. Maybe arms and legs splay wide. Maybe you bend your knees. Feet might go to the edges of your mat and the knees can knock in. That provides relief for any low back tension. Finding the place where you can let go and surrender completely onto your mat. Perhaps now that notion of connection that perhaps has carried you through class finds connection between the back line of your body and the support and comfort you find on your mat. Embracing these moments of stillness and release. Your mind begins to wander. Simply call it back with the natural rhythm of your breath. Enjoying inward and outward stillness. Reminding your body and your mind that stillness can be good for the body. Slowly deepening the breath. Feeling the front side of your body expand. The depth of your inhale. And then sigh it out in the exhale. Surrendering perhaps a little bit more into the mat. Taking that nice deep inhale again. Exhale, sigh. Then beginning to find minor movements, perhaps wiggling at the fingers and toes, maybe rolling at the wrists and ankles, perhaps nodding the head gently from side to side as you invite life back in on your turn. And when you're ready, stretching the body long, fingers away from toes. And then rolling to your favorite side. Pausing there as your practice settles into your body. And when you feel ready, you can press through the top hand, guiding yourself up to a comfortable seat. Eyes are closed or downcast. Feeling shoulders stacking over hips, length through the spine. Inhale, arms reach high, palms meeting at the top. Exhale, hands pause at your third eye as you seek openness of mind. They rest at your lips so that you find honest words and they settle at your heart as you arrive at a happy heart. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide for your practice. Namaste. And cheers. Hopefully you enjoyed your happy hour, or maybe you're gonna go do happy hour now in the solitude of your own home.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Molly.
You're welcome.
Later.
Thank you.
You're welcome.